Hey, what is going on, everyone? Can you believe that it is November already? And you know what that means? That the holidays are right around the corner. That means lots of fun time with the family, maybe a little bit of time off from work, and of course, the dreaded holiday weight gain that I get asked about all the time. A lot of our members inside the Total Life Fitness Academy are saying, Luke, how can I stay on track during the holidays? And I want to share with you 15 tips, unless I think of more while I'm filming this or while I'm recording this, to avoid weight gain in November and December during the holidays so you can enjoy the holidays, enjoy your favorite foods, and not feel like you are going to wake up January 1st and you're going to be 10 pounds heavier. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Luke Briggs. I'm the owner of the Total Life Fitness Academy, where we specialize in helping parents and busy professionals lose body fat, build muscle, and have more energy. I've been a coach for 11 years, and I've worked with nearly 3,000 clients. So I'm going to divide this up into 4 different categories. It is the mindset, and then we're going to talk about the specific daily actions before the get-together, during the get-together, and then after the get-together. So the first thing that I want to go through is the mindset. And I know a lot of you are thinking, Luke, just tell me what to do. I don't need mindset. My mindset is fine. But the mindset is what sets the foundation for everything else. If you don't have the right mindset in place, it's going to be a lot harder to take on everything else. So the first mindset to have, I'm going to go through 4 different mindsets that I think are really important for you to have to avoid weight gain over the holidays. The first one is remember that it is a holiday, not a holla month. So one day does not give you the excuse or give you the reason to just have whatever you want for the rest of the month. So if we do some math here, so right now it's 2023 and Thanksgiving is on Thursday, November 23rd. So if you want to classify the holiday season, quote unquote, it'd be like November 23rd till January 1st. So that'd be 8 days in November, 31 days in December, and then 1 day in January. So 8 plus 31 plus 1 is 40 days. So the holiday season, quote unquote, would be, 40 days. And how many holidays are there actually? So there's Thanksgiving, and then obviously different people celebrate different things. For the sake of today, we're just going to say that you celebrate Christmas. And so it's Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Let's call those the holidays. So that means that 5 out of 40 days are actually holidays. And then 35 out of 40 days are not holidays, which is 87.5% of the time or of the days are not actually holidays. So if you're just compliant all those other days, you should have nothing to worry about because that's the 80-20 rule anyways that we talk about on this podcast. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, but Luke, it's not just those days. I also have other parties that I'm invited to as well. Work's got a party. My friend Joe has a party. My neighbor Sally has a party. And I keep getting invited to all these parties. And that's okay. So let's say, there are 40 days. And let's say you eat 3 meals a day. That would be 120 meals. So let's say you have 1 meal on each of those 5 days. And then let's say you have, maybe 4 other meals during that time. So you have 4 other parties that you're invited to. Maybe you have a second Thanksgiving, and then you have like 2 other parties earlier in December, and then you have maybe another get together between Christmas and New Year's. So let's say you have 9 holiday meals. So 9 out of 120 meals means that 7.5% of the time is a holiday meal. And 92.5% of the time is not a holiday meal. So if 92.5% of the meals that you're having are not holiday meals, that's even higher than 80%. That's over 90% of them. So to say that it's the holidays, I can't do anything, as you can see, we just did some simple math, is not true. Where most people run into the problem is that they think that, oh, it's just the holiday season. I'm not going to be able to be successful anyways. I might as well just not do anything right now. And they just do whatever. Like for a lot of you, you're going to be home more. You're not even going to be out and about during some of the time. So if you're at home and you're relaxed, don't have bags of potato chips and leftovers there. Just eat healthy and you'll be fine. You don't have to feel bad about it. So number one mindset is it is a holiday, not a holiday month. Number two mindset to have is focus on the people, not the food. Focus on the people, not the food. So I remember a client of ours inside our Total Life Fitness Academy program said this a few years ago, and that always really resonated with me because I think a lot of people think just about the food, but what are the holidays really for? They're for spending time with your loved ones, spending time with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your significant other, whoever it is, right? It is about spending time with people. You go to these parties or gatherings, you talk to them about how their year's been going, maybe people you haven't seen in a while, you shoot the breeze, whatever it is. And they should be the main focus. Yet a lot of people focus so hardcore on the food. And I know a lot of you listening to this, you're probably like, well, I prepare all the food. So the food is part of it. And I get that as well. But just remember that the reason why people are coming over is for the people, not the food. So if you just make the people your focus when you're going over there, you're saying, I'm not obsessed with the food. I'm just going over there to hang out with my family. And we're going to eat and we're going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to obsess over it. Then you don't have to worry about it. The people are the main focus. So you don't have to have food in your hand the entire time or drinks or alcoholic drinks. Just focus on the people. That's what you're really there for. Number three mindset is failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. This is probably the biggest mistake that most people make in general, is that they don't plan for their nutrition. They just wing it and hope and pray that they're going to do better. Hoping and praying that you're going to do better or that you'll make good choices is not a strategy. Making a plan is a strategy. So if you're going to a party, don't just say, oh, I don't know what they're going to have, so I can't really plan for it. Are you kidding me right now? You already know it's going to be lots of, junk food, desserts, drinks. Like you already know it's going to be not the healthiest stuff. Like it doesn't matter exactly what it is. You already know that. So just plan for it. So that means that the rest of the day, you don't need to have a ton of food if the party's going to be later in the day. Just do intermittent fasting. Just have lean protein and veggies the rest of the day. Plan it out. Don't just wing it and use the reason of, oh, well, I don't know what they're going to have as the reason why you can't do anything. You can still plan and prepare. Exercise earlier that day. Typically, when you exercise, you're going to be less likely to overeat because you're like, well, I already exercised today, so I don't want to mess it up. So just have a plan. Any plan. Any plan is better than no plan. Number four mindset to have is it is important to have community and support. Have community and support. Share your goals with your friends or family and find a supportive community or an accountability partner. So surround yourself with other people who understand that it is your commitment to have a healthy holiday season. And these people can help you stay on track. Now, don't pick your friend who you know is flaky and is going to fall off the rails and isn't actually going to hold you accountable. That's not a very good accountability partner. And I see a lot of people make that mistake. They're like, oh, I'm going to pick my friend Sally, who always falls off track, as my accountability partner and isn't actually going to hold me accountable. Find people who are going to challenge you, who are going to push you, whether it is as simple as a Facebook community. It could be a coaching program. It could be a challenge, whatever it is that you're involved with. Make it people who you do not want to disappoint and who will actually keep you accountable. Because if you go in with no support and you don't tell anyone your goals, how is anyone supposed to help you with it? Communicate with the others around you in your life that you want to have a healthy holiday season. It doesn't mean you can't indulge and have eggnog or have gingerbread cookie or have ice cream or have your favorite Thanksgiving meal. You can have all these things. It just requires planning and preparation, and make sure that you have the right systems of support in place. So those are the 4 mindsets that I want to go over. Now, let's talk about 3 action steps to take before the get-togethers. Number 1, weigh yourself daily. Number 1, weigh yourself every day. There were some results published in the journal Obesity. This was something that I found in 2019. There was a study that was done at the University of Georgia where I believe it was 111 adults between the ages of 18 and 65 were instructed to maintain their weight throughout the 2017 and 2018 holiday season. So half of them were randomly assigned to a group that was told to weigh themselves daily, and the other group wasn't told anything specific. Now, the group that weighed themselves daily either maintained or lost weight on average, during the holiday season. And those who did not weigh themselves gained an average of 6 pounds. Those who weighed themselves daily either maintained or lost weight, and those who did not weigh themselves daily or were not told anything gained an average of 6 pounds. So just being aware every day of what you weigh, just like if you're tracking your budget, your monetary budget, just knowing what's in your bank account will make you spend less. If you know what you know, every morning you have to weigh in, are you probably going to stay more compliant? Yeah. And the research has admitted, like, it's not necessarily a causation, it's a correlation, right? But I'd say that's a pretty strong correlation. So, because I see so many people are like, oh, I don't want to know. I know the scale is going to be up. Still weigh yourself. Hold yourself accountable. You're not helping anyone. You're not helping yourself by avoiding the scale and then just eating whatever you want and then just say, oh, I'll just get back to it on January 1st. Just weigh yourself every day. Trust me, it'll help. Number 2 action step before they get together is track your food. So track your food. It could be in an app like MyFitnessPal. It could be in Fat Secret, Lose It, whatever app you prefer. The most important thing is just that you track your food. Because if you track your food, then you can create a budget for yourself going into the meal. So if you know that you need 2,000 calories to maintain your weight and you don't track your food at all and you just wing it, you might be eating 4,000 calories while you're there and you completely blew your budget. But if you know, hey, I have 2,000 calories for the day, then you can just plan for it. And you can say, okay, well, I know I'm going to probably have about, 1,600 calories while I'm there. So I'll just have 400 calories the rest of the day. Just budget for it. And that transitions perfectly into number 3 before they get together, which is pre-log your food. Number 3, pre-log your food. So pre-log your food in the food tracking app that you're going to use. And then if you know, okay, I'm probably going to have a cookie when I'm there. This is the meal we're having. I'm going to have a glass of wine, whatever it is. Just log it in there ahead of time. So then let's say that ends up being 1,600 calories using the 2,000 calorie example. So that means you have 400 calories to work with the rest of the day. So in that case, I would recommend doing a form of intermittent fasting. So you can just fast until maybe like 11 or 12. Then at 11 or 12, eat a heavy, lean protein meal. I generally don't recommend going and starving to a meal, to a holiday get together, because then you're going to have less willpower and just kind of eat everything in sight. Unless you have amazing willpower. Use your willpower to your advantage. So, I mean, you can literally, with 400 calories, like you can eat, 8 to 12 ounces of like lean ground beef or ground turkey. And then throw in a ton of veggies, like, 2 cups of veggies, and that's like 400 calories right there. I mean, you would have a ton of food volume and very few calories going into the meal. So that's the power of pre-logging your food before the meal and planning out what you're going to have in advance, because it makes it a lot easier to not feel guilty or bad about foods when you're there, because you've already budgeted them in. You've already budgeted them in. So it's just a part of what you were already planning to do. All right, now let's talk about the action steps during the get-together. I have 6 action steps during the get-together. Number 1, don't stand near the food. This may sound obvious, but if the food is not within immediate reach, you are going to be less likely to just grab it mindlessly. So post up somewhere away from the food. So if it's in the living room or the kitchen, stay away from that area. Whatever house you're in, go somewhere else. Talk to people elsewhere. And if someone kind of, corners you right there, just walk with them and say, hey, can we sit over here instead? People won't care. They just want to talk to you. They're not going to be like, no, we are staying right here and talking. Otherwise, I'm going to hate you forever. No one is going to say that to you. Just say, hey, this is a great conversation. Actually, can we go sit over here? Yeah, they're not going to care. So just don't stand right by the food. Number 2, don't worry about what others are doing. Number 2, don't worry about what others are doing. Everyone has a plan going into the holiday party. Very few actually stick with it. But those who do see the best results. Why does it matter what other people are doing? If your Uncle Bob is stuffing his face with everything in sight, why do you need to do that? And he might say, hey, come on, live a little, have more. Here, have another piece, have another slice. Who cares what he says? Just say, thanks, Uncle Bob. I really appreciate you offering that to me, but I'm good for now. I don't need any more. And he'll be like, come on, just have one more. Say, I really appreciate your offer. I'm good. Hey, how about those Chicago Bulls? Or how about those Milwaukee Bucks? Right? Just change the subject. And then he'll lose focus on it as well. To be honest, people who are pressuring you during it are just doing it to justify it themselves. The reason why they are pressuring you into eating is because they want to justify the overeating themselves. And this may sound harsh, but be honest. The people who are pressuring you, do you want to look and feel like they do? If the person giving you the advice you wouldn't want to trade places with in terms of their health, why are you listening to them? It's just like you learning from a broke person how to make money, or learning from someone who's been divorced 4 times how to be in a relationship. You wouldn't ask that person for advice on that particular topic. So why are you listening to someone who is unhealthy themselves about what choices you should or should not make during the holiday meal? It's the truth. So think about, if someone is giving you a suggestion or advice during the meal, do you want to trade places in terms of that person's health or what they're striving to be? If not, don't worry about what they say. You're not going to hurt their feelings. They'll be fine. Just change the subject. Number 3 action step during the actual holiday get-together is do not graze. Do not graze. This is the number 1 thing I see people do when they're at holiday parties. And I've obviously been to many over the years, both family, friends, and everything else. Is people will just constantly be eating the entire time. They'll get there, they'll grab a snack plate, they'll eat, they'll grab another snack plate, they'll eat, then they'll eat dinner, then they'll be done, then they'll grab desserts, then they'll just constantly be snacking and munching the entire time, and they way overeat. This transitions perfectly into number 4, which is eat one time while you are there. Eat one time. This is my personal rule. Every time I'm at a holiday party, I do not snack or graze on things. I eat one time. I have mashed potatoes. I have cookies. I have, stuffing, whatever it is. I don't not have these things, but I just have it all at once. So I'm not grazing. Because the thing is, a lot of people will graze on things and then they'll fill themselves up with all these little snacks here or there that won't even fill them up. And they're 1,000 calories. It's like you're having these chicken sliders and like a handful of nuts and all these different, all these different things to kind of occupy yourself. And by the time you've gotten to the meal, you've already had 1,000 mindless calories, and you've already pretty much shot your day. Instead, you could have not had those calories, just drank water ahead of time so that you have something in your hand if you really want that, and then just saved them for the food that actually matters, which is the main meal. Not all those little snacks here or there that aren't even going to fill you up and you're not even going to remember anyways. So eat one time. All right, number 5 is give yourself a limit and stick with it. Give yourself a limit and stick with it. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I just realized my phone is on, or my computer's on low battery, so I'm just plugging it in. All right, sorry about that pause right there. I accidentally unplugged my microphone for a second. But number 5 is give yourself a limit and then stick with it. So whatever you say you're going to do going into the party or into the meal, just stick with it. If you say you're going to have 1 cookie, don't have 3 cookies. If you say you're going to have 1 alcoholic beverage, don't have 4. Make a promise to yourself, keep a promise. Make a promise, keep a promise. If you constantly break promises to yourself, you're going to stop believing in yourself that you're actually going to follow through. And when you don't believe in yourself, that's the worst thing, because then you're going to say to your friends or family when you're there that I'm going to have 1 cookie, and then everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, right. Last time you had like 6. There's no way you're going to have 1. And they're not going to believe in you either. So make a promise, keep a promise. Whatever you say you're going to eat, do that and no more. Number 6, action step during the get-together is don't eat because you're nervous or bored. If you're at a party and you're anxious because you don't know what to do, don't just resort to eating. A lot of people will do that. They'll be like, oh, I'm in between talking to people. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just going to go grab some more food. Why do you need to do that? You're just going to add unnecessary calories. If you need a nervous habit, heck, just scroll on your phone. Go to the bathroom. Find something else to do other than just sitting there. Or just find a person next to you. Just kind of inundate yourself into their conversation. So don't make your nervous habit to eat. Or you're like, oh, just kind of sitting there. I'm watching TV. Oh, let me grab some food. You don't need to grab food. Just grab a water. Just drink a water. That's no calories and it's healthy for you. So when you're about to grab something, ask yourself, why am I grabbing this? Am I actually hungry? Or am I just bored? Or am I just anxious? Because if the reason is I'm just bored or anxious, you don't need to have it. Actually, literally say it to yourself out loud. People might think you're weird, but hey, I'm about to grab this food. I'm actually hungry right now. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to put it back. So again, only eat because you're actually hungry, not just because you're bored. All right, last 2 action steps are after the get-togethers. So the number 1 action step after the get-togethers is don't take home leftovers. Don't take home leftovers. Throw them away. It's not a waste. The starving children in Africa are not going to get that food that you just threw away. And I love this. One of our clients from a few years ago said this. They said, it can either go in the waste or go to your waste. So you can either throw the food away in the waste basket or it can go to your waste. Because why do you just need to eat it? It's the same thing as putting it down the trash can as it is eating it in reality, especially if you don't need it. So why are you eating it? Leftovers are crushers because people just go home and then they'll get into this holiday mode where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to eat all the leftovers and eat mindlessly for the next few weeks. You don't need to do that. Just get rid of the leftovers. Tell someone else to take them. And if someone insists on you taking them, just throw them away. No one's going to know and no one's going to care. Number 2 thing for after the get together is whatever you have during that holiday meal, resume your normal maintenance or fat loss portions the next meal. So whatever you normally eat to either maintain your weight or to lose fat, just go back to that portion the next meal and you'll be absolutely fine. As I just stated, the problem so many people make is that they go into what I like to call quote unquote holiday mode, where they're just like, oh, I can't do anything. It's the holidays. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. It's a free for all. I don't want to have to try. I'm tired. And they just eat whatever. They eat for convenience. You can have and enjoy foods. You can have stuffing. You can have your cake and eat it too. Just plan for it. Just make it fit within your overall budget for the day and go back to eating your normal foods the next meal, and you will be absolutely fine and you don't have to feel guilty or bad about it. So those are my tips to avoid weight gain over the holiday season. Hopefully this has been helpful. Make sure to check out our links in the show notes. We have our Facebook group, Wisconsin Fitness and Nutrition Facebook group. If you're in Wisconsin, check it out below. It has all sorts of guides in there. We have over 100 free protein shake and snack recipes, a healthy dining out guide, and so much more. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review so the show can reach more people and grow. Until next time, chat soon.